of the Army War College. Welcome, Professor Lovelace. The question, what role does the Strategic Studies Institute play at the U.S. Army War College? What's your mission?
Well, many people refer to the Strategic Studies Institute as the Army War Colleges, or in some cases, the Army's think tank, and that is what we do. But I guess I would categorize our role into four different areas. They're interrelated, of course. The first is to ensure the relevance and the freshness of the U.S. Army War College curricula, and we have several curricula. And we do that through our strategic research and analysis that feeds into the curricula at the War College. Along with that, of course, once our graduates leave the Army War College, they have many years of service left, and we provide them through our publications an opportunity for continuing education. And so we see that as the second role.
You have an enormous number of publications you do annually. Do you have a number that you can put on it?
We publish between 60 and 70 monograph length type publications per year.
Wow, that's amazing. You must be the biggest think tank in the U.S. military.
Actually, we're really tiny comparatively, but we're a highly leveraged organization. When I say highly leveraged, we have our own internal researchers, of course, and we have at any given time we have between 15 and 20 of those. But we also have an external research associates program where we reach out to scholars both in the United States and around the world to help fill our research gaps for us. And as a result, we're able to leverage their expertise and produce these up to 60 to 70 publications per year, covering a very broad range of national security topics.
Yeah, there's a gap sometimes between practitioners and academia. I suspect you play an enormous role in bridging that gap. Can you describe that?
Yes, and actually, some people refer to it as a gap. I refer to it more as a linkage. In other words, connecting the Army's research and strategic research and analysis capabilities with the strategic research and analysis capabilities in the broader national security academic and practitioner community. In 1992, the Chief of Staff of the Army established the Army's Academic Engagement Program and assigned the U.S. Army War College responsibility for conducting that program. And within the U.S. Army War College, the Strategic Studies Institute is the proponent for that program. So we conduct the Army's Academic Engagement Program. And so we reach out to academia in several ways. First, of course, through our publications, and all of our publications that are unclassified, and that's 99% of them, are available on our website, and all of them since 1994. So it's a very rich database.
And what is that website?
It's the Strategic Studies Institute. .army.mil. However, if you just Google strategic studies, will come up within the top 2 or 3 listings. Of course, if you just Google Strategic Studies Institute, will be number 1 that comes up on that. And so our publications is one way that we bridge to the larger national security and intellectual community. And I might add that many of our publications are used in university courses around the country and around the world, and we get requests quite frequently. And I'm talking, the numbers in the tens and twenties of thousands. So it's seen as a resource for the academic community. I mentioned already our external research associate program. We're able to provide some research funding for external scholars to help fill some of our research gaps. That, of course, helps our research mission, but it also helps us establish and maintain relationships with some of the most influential academics in the national security community, and like I said, in the country, but around the world as well.
I know I've been privileged to attend a number of the programs you've had at the War College and the Strategic Studies Institute over the past few years, and I can absolutely assure our audience that your programs are absolutely world-class. You bring in the best people in the world for these programs, and I would highly recommend people attend if they're able to. That leads me to my next question. Well, just looking ahead broadly, what do you see for the future for SSI, and more specifically, what do you see in the area of strategic land power research and analysis?
Well, I think that for SSI, we have a lot of work ahead of us, and there's a large discussion. I won't call it a debate, but there's a large discussion ongoing right now about the relevance of land power in the future. And that discussion seems to center around, maybe I could characterize it by Secretary of Gates' comment that anyone who would consider Asia must have their head examined. And our nation's appreciation for its army largely is centered around fighting large wars. But the big challenge for the Army is to articulate to the American public and to our political leaders the value of the Army in maintaining peace, because that's really the true value of our Army, and that is to maintain peace and, when necessary, transition to conflict, but transition back to a better peace. And that's the way I think that we really need to articulate the role of land power in the future. And we haven't done a very good job of that, because coming out of the Cold War, we were focused on the big wars, global family of war plans, and then out of that we're focused on two simultaneous major regional conflicts. All of it has been focused on large-scale war, but that's not the most important role for the Army. The most important role for the Army is to maintain peace. When we have to go to war, we will, but only with the objective of achieving a better peace as we come out of that war. And that kind of leads to some derivative roles or tasks for SSI, and that's conduct our academic engagements and our research and analysis that helps the Army and the nation help China emerge on the world scene as a responsible stakeholder as opposed to an adversary. And also, the Army can be very instrumental in helping America establish the goodwill that it enjoyed for so many years after winning the Cold War. That seems to be at a much lower level now. Through military-to-military engagements, the Army can provide that carpet, if you will, for other instruments of national power to be brought to bear in the international security environment. And of course, we're all wondering about the Army's role in cybersecurity. That's another major area that we need to look at.
Professor Lovelace, are there any upcoming programs you'd like to just comment on that might be coming up over the next year, or areas that are of special priority that people should keep their eye on?
Well, yes. So we have our annual strategy conference that we hold up at the Army War College, and that's our flagship event as far as academic conferences go. It'll be held in April, 7th through 9th of April of this year, and the topic is going to be the role of land power within the capstone concept for joint operations. And so we'll be looking at the joint operations and the contribution of the military to national security, but we will funnel that down into the role of land power in contributing to the capstone concept for joint operations.
Thank you very much, Professor Lovelace. Our guest today has been Professor Douglas Lovelace, who is the Director of the Strategic Studies Institute at the Army War College. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you for allowing me to have this interview.